And that's, you can see with Floyd too. Floyd really was like that too. He really like, although he like continued like to got belts and shit like that, but
Floyd Mayweather is stirring things up with Gervonta Davis again, after recently inserting himself into Lamont Roach's training camp. Just as he did with Frank Martin, Mayweather plans to help Roach get ready for his upcoming fight with Davis, aiming to hand Tank his first career loss before fading into retirement. Davis holds the victories over Frank Martin from their amateur days, and Floyd Mayweather is determined to help Lamont Roach narrow that gap. Known for his exceptional defensive skills, during his legendary career, Mayweather is working with Roach to prepare him to evade the powerful punches of his undefeated opponent, who boasts an impressive 93% knockout rate.
Talk to Danny a little bit about what he's got going on, and just kind of transitioning. There's so much going on in boxing right now. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts. So,
after his efforts with Frank Martin fell short, Floyd Mayweather is now focusing on Lamont Roach, hoping for a successful outcome. While the rift between Mayweather and Gervonta Davis appears beyond repair, Mayweather would find satisfaction. If Davis were to lose his next fight, it would be a moment of personal triumph for him, giving him a good laugh.
Obviously, Tank isn't the biggest 135-pounder. Everybody fights is damn near bigger than him. I think the only person that was smaller than him was Pip.
Davis, boasting an undefeated 30-0 record with 28 knockouts, last fought in June 2023, where he dominated Frank Martin with his speed and power, securing a knockout in the middle rounds. He also scored a significant win earlier that year, defeating Ryan Garcia in one of the most anticipated bouts. On the other hand, Lamont Roach is currently riding a 6-fight win streak. Since his only career loss to Jamal Herring in 2019, his most notable victory came in November when he narrowly defeated Hector Garcia by split decision to claim a world title. Initially, Mayweather believed Davis was cherry-picking opponents, considering the wealth of talent in the lightweight division. Boxers like Devin Haney, Shaka Stevenson, Ryan Garcia, Isaac Cruz, Rayo Valenzuela, Teofimo Lopez, and Vasily Lomachenko are seen as much stronger competition for Davis than facing Lamont Roach. Mayweather warns that if Davis continues to take these easy fights, he risks leaving the sport without a legacy, like many champions before him who failed to leave a lasting mark in boxing history.
So that was a defeat. I lost. When I lost a lot of loved ones around me, my grandmother, when I lost the mother of my children, those losses you can't bounce.
What stood out the most was how Floyd Mayweather's comments sharply contrasted with those of boxing trainer Greg Hackett. Hackett views the upcoming Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach bout as a solid matchup, despite recognizing that Roach might not be as familiar to casual boxing fans who haven't been closely following the sport.
It's boxing. What's going to happen is going to happen.
Hackett points out that while Lamont Roach may not have the same flair as fighters like Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney, it's part of his laid-back personality. According to Hackett, Roach's calm demeanor means he doesn't exude the intimidating presence that some fans might expect. In contrast, Gervonta Davis brings that extra flair to the table. Hackett explained to YSM Sports Media that even if Roach tried to intimidate his opponent, his appearance being light-skinned with green eyes doesn't convey the same intimidating aura. On the other hand, Tank's tattoos, braids, and overall style give him a more aggressive and striking image, adding to the hype and excitement surrounding him.
This is what it is. You just don't ever know what can happen in the sport.
Right.
We take losses every day, even though I may have had my hand raised every time I went out there and performed.
Hackett emphasizes that Lamont Roach may not have the same flashy style or hype as some other fighters, but he's a skilled and respected champion who deserves recognition. He points out that the issue in boxing today is the constant search for hype and big-name matchups, when in reality, the Davis versus Roach fight is a solid one. Roach and Davis both have experience fighting Hector Garcia, and Hackett notes that this level of competition is comparable. He questions how Davis could be accused of cherry-picking when Roach A title holder has a history with him and knows him well. The only thing missing, according to Hackett, is the kind of flair that boxers like Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney bring, but that shouldn't diminish the value of the fight. It's a significant matchup, especially for the DMV area, and it's a fight worth respecting.
Those are lifetime losses. And you know, as long as you know you went out there and gave it 100% in that square circle, if you know you gave it 100% and you happy with what you did when you went out there, then that's what it is.
It's not surprising how Floyd Mayweather has approached the situation, given the way his relationship with Gervonta Davis has soured over the past few months. The two have gone from being mentor and protege to complete enemies, airing their grievances publicly. The tension began when Mayweather appeared in an interview with Fight Hype, criticizing boxers who were more focused on luxuries than honing their skills. Things escalated when Mayweather involved Shaka Stevenson, made false claims about Davis's fights, and openly ridiculed the Baltimore champion, further intensifying their fallout. The most shocking part of the fallout was how Floyd Mayweather not only took sides against Gervonta Davis in his last fight, but also behaved in a way that seemed out of character for a boxing legend. After Davis's loss, Mayweather felt that his Instagram post about the fight being canceled wasn't enough. He went further by labeling an easy win for Davis as a 50-50th fight, and even gave Frank Martin tips to help him defeat Tank Davis, adding fuel to the growing tension between them. This kind of behavior was unexpected and stirred up more controversy.
Davis!
This time, Floyd Mayweather's feud with Gervonta Davis seemed to consume him so much that he secretly reached out to Davis's opponent, Frank Martin, offering him tips on how to defeat Tank. Whether Martin didn't heed Mayweather's advice, or if it simply wasn't enough, remains unclear. However, on fight night, Martin, who had shown promise in the early rounds, ultimately fell short. At 1 minute and 49 seconds into the 8th round, a devastating blow from Davis sent Martin crashing to the canvas, earning Davis the 30th win of his career and adding another highlight to his undefeated record.
Loves to embrace guys, so what was being around talking to Floyd? Like, what has Floyd taught you about fighting, and has it made you a better fighter? Because he could tell me all day to do that shit he does.
The real issue wasn't just the fight itself, but the involvement of Floyd Mayweather, who had clearly been at odds with Gervonta Davis. Their feud had escalated into one of the most dramatic mentor versus protege conflicts in recent boxing history. Frank Martin revealed in one of his pre-fight interviews that Mayweather had offered his help in some way ahead of the fight, likely with the intention of getting back at Davis for what he perceived as disrespect. This added even more fuel to the already fiery tension between the two former allies.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what does being around a guy like Floyd do for you?
He could tell you, go run at 2 a.m. You know, go do it cause not.
It came as a shock to both boxing fans and professionals when Frank the Ghost Martin revealed that he had been receiving advice from Gervonta Davis's former mentor and promoter, Floyd Mayweather. The two lightweight fighters clashed in the ring at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas on June 15th, with Gervonta Tank Davis successfully retaining his World Boxing Association title, further intensifying the drama surrounding their feud.
Help him become world champion and take things to that next level. And I've always been there for him. And just over the years, you can see I've always been positive, always said great.
As expected, there was plenty of trash talk building up between the two leading into the fight. Tank Davis was the heavy favorite, but in an appearance on the Pivot podcast, shared on YouTube before the bout, challenger Frank Martin revealed the Mike Tyson-esque advice Floyd Mayweather had been giving him. Mayweather, known for his sharp boxing mind, offered Martin tips on how to gain the upper hand against Davis, further adding to the intrigue and drama surrounding the fight.
9 out of 10, we know your opponent sleep at that time. So go run at 2 a.m. and go give yourself a mental edge, you know, like, cause you know you out there working every night at 2 a.m. running.
Frank Martin admitted that receiving advice from Floyd Mayweather gave him a unique feeling, as it was an unusual situation given the history between Mayweather and Davis. In response to critics, Mayweather lashed out, stating, "I do what I want. to do and support whoever I feel. How's there a crime in that? What's wrong with Frank meeting me for advice? If Tank comes, I'd advise him to. So what's the problem y'all have with me? Despite the fallout between Mayweather and Davis over the years, Mayweather had still supported Tank in the past. Davis had always respected the former champion, but with the Davis versus Martin fight, alliances were clearly shifting, marking a turning point in their relationship.
The claims on X that your fight was canceled the last couple of weeks.
He's the one who told Frank that I was running at 5 o'clock.
Especially after the much publicized online conflict between Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather last month, the tension was palpable. When asked if there was anything Martin had learned from Mayweather ahead of the fight, Martin shared an interesting piece of advice. He explained, "He could tell you, man, go run at 2 in the morning, because 9 times out of 10, we know your opponent is asleep at that time." Martin clarified that he didn't necessarily need to train at those hours, but the idea was that doing so would give him a mental edge over his opponent. These are the small details, Martin emphasized, that can make a big difference in the end. While he noted that the advice wasn't revolutionary or major game changer, hearing it from someone like Floyd Mayweather, who has reached the pinnacle of the sport, carried a different weight and significance.
7 o'clock in the morning, Friday. He told Frank that. He was giving Frank the tips.
Really? How'd you know that? Just word of mouth?
I stayed.
You're going to take a lot of heat from it, and it's going to give you a different type of motivation when you do it, said Frank Martin. Reflecting on the unique advice Floyd Mayweather had shared with him, he went on to add that even though a boxer might not perfectly mimic everything Mayweather suggests, it still provides a different feeling and mindset. Interestingly, this approach mirrors the tactics used by Mike Tyson before his fights to gain a mental edge. Tyson, known for becoming the youngest heavyweight champion and later an undisputed champion, would engage in grueling activities like running at 3 a.m. and chopping wood to mentally prepare for his bouts. However, despite Tyson's intense training, methods, and Mayweather's guidance, they couldn't prevent Gervonta Davis from executing his game plan on fight night. Coming off a year-long layoff due to his involvement in a hit-and-run case and serving 90 days in a Baltimore prison in 2022, Davis returned with a vengeance. He ultimately defeated Martin with an impressive 8th-round knockout, proving his resilience and determination despite the personal and professional challenges he faced.
Seeing his people drive by while I was running.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they were like spying her, kind of?
No. He got a club.
The gap in Gervonta Davis's resume didn't affect his skills in the ring. He defeated Ryan Garcia in his last fight in April of the previous year and secured a similar victory against Frank Martin in the lead up to Davis's bout with Martin. Mayweather, after the two exchanged shots on social media, even urged his fans to watch UFC instead. Boxing reporter Michael Benson highlighted the escalating tension between them, capturing the public clash as Davis remained focused on his fight and continued to prove his dominance in the lightweight division.
And that's why he is in the position he is in. So hats off to him. If a rematch happened, I would most certainly beat him. I've no doubt in my mind. You know, he's claimed retired. I'm not the type of guy to begrudge a man. Like, you know, the fight game is a cruel, ruthless.
Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis continued their feud as Mayweather trolled Davis by posting that the Frank Martin fight had been canceled. Tank responded with a bold message, saying, "Keep talking and we'll pull up to your house to lay hands on you." Davis then went on to deliver a brutal knockout against Martin on Saturday. In a post-fight interview, Davis revealed that Mayweather had tried to give Martin tips on how to beat him, stating, "He was giving Frank tips and stuff like that, but I know for sure that wasn't going to be enough to beat me. It's cool. It's all right. I don't really think too much of it. He's not going to hurt me. You know what I mean. It's better to beef with him than to be cool with him."
To see an individual go out on top like that, close to $1 billion in earnings from fighting alone, I take my hat off to that. I'm actually, after the fight, I'm like, you know what, fair play to the guy. Much respect to him. So I'm not the type of guy to say, no, give me one more.
You know, Floyd Mayweather was the one who told Frank that I was running at 5 o'clock, Davis said, commenting on Mayweather's involvement in his feud. Meanwhile, away from his beef with Davis, Mayweather seemed to have a big surprise for boxing fans. Who can forget the legendary 2017 fight between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather? The Dublin fighter crossed over into boxing, earning around $130 million for the bout against the then 9-0 boxer, while Mayweather walked away with $300 million from the fight.
Oh my, whoop your ass. He's 40 odd. Leave him be. Fair play to him. He got the win that night. Much power, much respect to him. All due respect given to him. Let's see how it goes in the next year or two with his finances, whether he is as smart as he.
McGregor performed impressively in his debut boxing fight, lasting until the 10th round before being stopped by Mayweather. A rematch has been discussed for quite some time, and it now seems like it could happen. McGregor has been waiting for the chance to return to action after recovering from a severe leg injury. However, he has yet to receive an official date from the UFC and is exploring other possible options, including a potential Mayweather fight. So, what does McGregor think about a possible Maymac to the first boxing clash between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather is still fresh in the minds of most fans. However, certain conditions in the original fight didn't work in McGregor's favor. The bout took place in the 154-pound division, forcing McGregor to cut a significant amount of weight, which caused him to lose some of his natural power.
We in here working. Get back on the mat. Get back on the mat. Get back on the mat. Hey, Connor, get back on the mat. Stay tuned, baby. Stay tuned. It's working.
The fight was also scheduled for 12 rounds, and McGregor had no prior experience fighting for that long. Bloody Elbow shared a video on their YouTube channel, where McGregor showed little interest in facing Mayweather again. However, in a later interview with Mara, McGregor took a completely different approach, suggesting he might be open to the idea of a rematch. His shift in perspective indicates he could be reconsidering the possibility of facing Mayweather once more.
Crawford is very slick. He also has a wrestling pedigree. So we're talking back and forth. It's like a 2-fight deal. Like Crawford, they're talking to me here about you and me. A 2-fight deal.
The 36-year-old McGregor has no issues facing the legendary boxer again, but this time, he wants the fight to happen on his terms. Championship Round shared a video clip on their X account, where McGregor discussed a potential second clash with Mayweather. He explained, there are conversations ongoing. I fought Floyd at 153 pounds, which is a low weight for me, so he brought me all the way down. It was over 12 rounds, and I've never fought 12 rounds. Now, the discussion is at my weight, higher, maybe 170 pounds, and maybe fewer rounds. I'd fancy it. I had him bent over, you see. I had him bent over, so what more do you want me to do? Do you want me to finish the job when I have him bent over? Mayweather isn't the only one on McGregor's radar. Mystic Mac also expressed his willingness to face Terence Crawford in a boxing match, showing he's keeping his options open for big future bouts.
MMA first, boxing second. I said, I know you have an extensive background and balls the size of a Bengali tiger. They're asking for a fight. It's going to be hundreds of millions on the line.
The fight never happened after Crawford pulled out, but now the boxer has changed his tune. He took to Instagram to share a message for the Dubliner. Earlier this month, two of the biggest stars in boxing and MMA, Terence Crawford and Conor McGregor, were in unofficial talks to face each other. The former dual-weight champion revealed that he had offered Crawford a 2-fight deal, one in MMA and one in boxing. According to McGregor, the deal could have allowed the undisputed welterweight champion to earn $100 million for both fights.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to.
Both parties initially confirmed in a phone call that they would face each other, but Crawford later pulled out. During a conversation with the media, Crawford explained his reason for withdrawing. He said, "They offered me the fight. Me and Conor got on the phone and started politicking, trying to figure something out. Man, I'm not getting in no freaking octagon with you so you can be kicking and elbowing me." He acknowledged McGregor's respect for his decision, but now it seems the former champion is reconsidering. Crawford recently shared a story on his Instagram with a message that read, "Hi Conor McGregor, I'm getting back on the mat. Stay tuned. Baby, we are working." This hints that the fight might still be on the horizon.
Great. He can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
Conor McGregor is currently aiming for a return to the UFC. but has been consistently avoided by the promotion. Despite this, he still has the fights left on his contract, so fans can expect to see him back in action soon, regardless of his next move. On the other hand, Gervonta Tank Davis's promoters have treated him as a valuable asset, carefully managing his career and avoiding matchups against opponents fans are already familiar with. While Davis's professional earnings may not have reached their full potential, he has kept winning and steadily moving forward. Had he faced more well-known opposition over the past 11 years, his wealth and profile could have been significantly greater. When discussing Gervonta Davis, it's important to highlight his reputation as a destructive puncher, with many even saying he's more powerful than Terrence Crawford. Davis has fought 30 times in his career, winning all of them with an impressive 28 knockouts. His power and undefeated record have earned him a place among the top names in boxing today.